Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's the 1st of November and we just opened up a brand new Bitcoin monthly candle. And my, oh my, what a candle it is. But we also have the big FOMC meeting tomorrow. So before we discuss Bitcoin, I do want to spend some time having a quick discussion on tomorrow's meeting, because tomorrow's meeting, guys, is going to be a very important meeting. It's going to essentially set the tone for how all markets are going to trade for the rest of the year, whether it be crypto, equities, as well as the bond market. And that's going to have severe implications. And right over here, I have a screenshot of the Fed watch tool for you guys. And I'm going to break down what I am seeing over here, because I've been monitoring this for the past 2 weeks. And we have some really interesting data showing up on the probabilities of what the market thinks the Fed is going to do. So let's first start with what these numbers on the y-axis and the x-axis even mean. On the x-axis, you have your target rate in basis points, right? So over here, you're seeing 350 to 375. That's denominated in basis points. To convert this into percent, all you have to do is divide it by 100. So 350 to 375 essentially means 3.5% to 3.75%. Currently, the current target rate is 3% to 3.5. And there's a 13% probability that the market is going to go to 350 to 375 basis points. That's essentially saying that, hey, there's a 13% probability that we move up by 0.5%, right? So rate hike of 0.5% has a 13% probability according to the market. And if we move on over to the right-hand side of the chart, we are seeing a 87% probability of a 375 to 400 basis points hike, which essentially translates to 3.75% to 4%, right? So this essentially means that the market is pricing in a 87% chance of a 0.75% hike, right? And right here at the bottom, you can see the same numbers in table format, right? We have a 13% chance for a 0.5% rate hike and a 87% chance for a 0.75% rate hike. Now, here's what's really interesting. If the Fed comes out tomorrow and increases interest rates by only 0.5%, essentially setting the target rate to 350 to 375 basis points, that would be considered bullish. In fact, would be considered mega bullish. And why is this? It's because the market is currently pricing in only a 13% probability of this happening. There's a much higher probability on the 75% basis points hike. What's even more interesting, guys, is that if you compare these probabilities to the probabilities last week, you're going to see that the probability of the Fed setting only a 5% interest rate hike has gone up drastically, right? It was a 4% probability 1 week ago, only a 4% probability. Now, the market is saying that there's an increased likelihood of only a 0.5% rate hike as opposed to a 0.75% rate hike. For those of you who are new here, a 0.75% rate hike is going to be far more tightening on financial conditions as opposed to a 0.5% rate hike. Now, for the longest time, the market was pricing in almost 100% probability that the Fed comes out and increases the rates by 0.75. But now, if they instead increase it by only 0.5, even though it is an increase, it's going to be considered dovish. And that's going to get a lot of market participants wondering, hey, if the Fed isn't being as aggressive as they were and as aggressive as the rest of the market expected them to, then maybe the Fed is beginning to think that, hey, you know what, we've done enough. These things tend to work with a lag. Let's pause and see whether inflation is gonna start improving, right? Now, some people are going to be wondering if the Fed is going to pause. Some people are going to be wondering that, hey, maybe this is going to lead to an eventual Fed pivot. Either way, this is going to cause the market to start unpositioning out of the possibility of a zero point 0.7 basis points hike and possibly even position for a pivot, right? Now, keep in mind, guys, this is only if the Fed comes in with a 0.5% hike. Because at the moment, the probability, if you look back down to the bottom of the screen over here, the probability of a 0.5% hike is still only 13%. What's interesting over here, and the key thing to note, is that the market has priced in an increased probability over here compared to last week, where it was only 3.8%, right? So more than a 4x increased probability of a 0.5% rate hike. Now, personally, if you ask me, I don't think that the Fed is going to come in with a 0.5% hike. I think they're going to stick with their 75 basis points, because a 0.5% hike, guys, is going to be considered far too bullish by the markets. And we are going to see equities rally as well as the bond market rally, right? And if the bond market rallies, this is going to essentially lead to the long end of the curve also loosening, which means that mortgage rates are going to go down. Mortgage rates go down, the housing market is going to start picking up some steam again, and I don't think the Fed wants that just yet. And honestly, I don't see a reason to go under expectations and set a 0.5% hike when the market is already pricing in a 0.75% hike, and it seems to be handling it fairly well. And guys, furthermore, if you look at the forward probabilities, we are going to see that while in the next meeting, which is tomorrow, the market is pricing in a 0.75% hike, right? You can see 87% probability. In the forward months, the probabilities weigh in favor of a 0.5% hike in December, and the one after that, I believe, is in Feb, right? First week of Feb, that's coming in at only a 0.25% hike, right? So as things stand, the market is already pricing in a deceleration in Fed rate hikes, right? And this is why I don't think we're going to see a 0.5, but honestly, who knows, because the Bank of Canada was expected to also increase their rates by 0.75, but they increased it by 0.5. But I think this is more of a testament of how sensitive the Canadian populace is to increase in rate hikes. And this could be, honestly, the Bank of Canada trying to front run the Fed's eventual pivot into a more loosening posture, or rather pause, right? We want to ensure that we differentiate between what a pause in rate hikes are and what a pivot is. A pause is essentially the Fed moving from a posture of increasing rates drastically to just kind of letting things stay flat, and a pivot is when they actually start decreasing interest rates. But I don't think we're going to be reaching this state for at least a few months. Alrighty, and on over to Bitcoin. Here we're looking at the monthly time frame. We just opened a brand new month. I have a few charts prepared for you guys over here that we'll quickly talk about to kind of speed things along and be a little bit more organized, since we did spend a tad bit more time today discussing the FOMC meeting tomorrow. And by the way, if you guys did enjoy that kind of discussion and explanation, please let me know in the comments down below, because if you guys did, I will spend more time on the channel covering that kind of content. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the monthly. I do want to cover the weekly as well. We opened a brand new weekly yesterday, but I think it's pretty important. We're going to start with the monthly. If you guys have been following me for the past couple of months, you guys know that I've been waiting and looking for Bitcoin to close a monthly candle above the 20,050 level, right? Somewhere around there. Let's go ahead and try and get it somewhere around here, right? So Bitcoin managed to do that, right? And now that doesn't mean that we're going to skyrocket to the upside because Bitcoin did that. I was looking for Bitcoin to do that, to no longer be bearish on Bitcoin, because the prior month, right, the month of September closed pretty bad. Okay, we closed pretty bad, and we weren't convinced though for the bearish move because of what we discussed in regards to what's happening with the other currencies and Dixie, etc., etc. Now, with this candle over here, with the reclaim of the 20,050-ish level, we can kind of breathe a sigh of relief because the bulls have essentially claimed a massive level that otherwise would have meant dire consequences for Bitcoin towards the downside. Now, again, I want to reiterate, this does not mean that Bitcoin is shooting to the upside. It just means that Bitcoin no longer is at risk of dumping drastically towards the downside. There is a lot more work that the bulls need to do that I do want to talk about. That being said, if you combine the entire story of what we discussed in the beginning section of this video in regards to the FOMC, if we do start seeing the Fed actually pause, right? If we see a 50 basis point hike tomorrow, we're definitely going to be rallying on Bitcoin as well. But let's say we see a 75 basis points hike, but that 75 basis points hike is accompanied with Powell putting out a lot of dovish comments in the press conference that comes after. Because remember, guys, the rate hike is only one part of the story, right? Forward guidance is the next big part of the story that is going to be, in my opinion, even more important, because the probability at the moment is weighing drastically towards the side of 75 basis points, right? What matters is what forward guidance, and this is, again, we're going back to the FOMC discussion, but I think this is important. I should have discussed this in on the slide. Yeah, but forward guidance, right? What Powell indicates, or rather projects, as to what he's going to be doing in the months to come is going to be very, very important. So watch out for that as well. Depending on that, Bitcoin could, well, see a rally or could come further down. Now, if Bitcoin comes further down, it's likely going to be a bid opportunity as long as Powell doesn't come in and give a huge scare. I think we could come all the way down to, honestly, 19,600, 19,800, somewhere around there. And as long as the month closes, the end of the month, November, closes back above 20,050-ish, I think we are fine. We could even use Krisha's level, which is a tad bit lower. She's a bit more lenient, around 19,800-ish, right? Yeah. So there are a few more things pointing towards that level that we'll come to very, very soon. So yeah, that's the monthly. Monthly is recovered, not looking fantastic just yet, but hey, it's out of the danger zone at least for now. Okay, so now we're going to switch on over to the weekly time frame right over here, and I want to point out to you guys that Bitcoin has now reclaimed the 10 SMA. If you guys have been following Mango for a while, you guys know that we usually look at the first claim of the 10 SMA as a fake out because we dump back in, and similar, you could look at the 21 EMA as a similar story, right? But now that we have the second claim of the 10 SMA, you could look for price to retest the 10 SMA potentially, which is coming in at around 19,800, lining up with Krisha's level on the monthly. So that would be a nice bid opportunity, somewhere a tad bit lower, maybe perhaps 19,600, trading the wing kind of opportunity, and then a move to the 21 EMA. If Bitcoin claims the 21 EMA, that's going to be bullish, but again, I wouldn't be too ultra bullish there just yet, because the first claim of the 21 EMA could be a fake out, look for a higher low, and then a move towards the upside. Oh, by the way, guys, in regards to the 21 EMA, if Bitcoin does claim the 21 EMA, the Mango discount on the C program, the dynamic, etc., will end. There is a discount running as long as we are underneath the 21 EMA that ends as soon as we claim the 21 EMA. Just so that you guys aren't surprised if we do remove the discount. Okay, so that's Bitcoin on the weekly. Now I want to talk about, I believe we're going to be looking at the daily. Yeah, so another zone that I've been talking about for a while on the mid time frames, guys, is this zone over here, right? Between, again, this is coming at 19,920-ish towards 20,300, and I'm leaning towards the bottom of the zone getting tested, which again lines up with the $19,800 level, right? I posted a screenshot of the zone on Discord as well, so if you guys aren't in the Discord yet, make sure you guys join. You can find us at the mangoway.com/discord. Again, that's the mangoway.com/discord. So I'm looking towards the bottom of the zone getting retested, and that's also going to be the retest of this crossover, potentially potential cross of the 21 EMA over the green 55. We were watching for this potential cross right over here, guys, right over here, if you guys do remember, right? We were looking at this cross getting defended by the bears, and if it did get defended by the bears, we were looking for the big move towards the downside, and what do you know? We saw the bears defend it, we got a close underneath it, got a retest, and dumped deep down after that. Look how close price came to crossing, but the bears defended it. This is how you know that it's a trader's market, right? When you see things like this, you can expect things like this, and you see it play out. We did not get the bullish cross eventually, and now the bulls have one more attempt at actually seeing this through. This time, I honestly think that the bulls are going to see this cross bullish. You're going to see the 21 EMA cross over the green 55. And if the bulls manage to hold price above the 21 EMA after they get that cross, right, you want to see price start drifting. That's going to be a massive win, perhaps put in an ascending triangle and break towards the upside after that. And there's a lot more to contend with even after. And that actually takes us to the CME chart. I want to draw your attention to what we are noticing over here on the 21 EMA on the 3-day time frame, right? Price has been held down by the 21 EMA on the 3-day for the past, like, how long? Couple of months now. How many days? 85 days, 3 months, almost 3 months, right? So if CME's manages to claim the 21 EMA on the 3-day time frame over here, we see two 3-day candles over here. I'm going to be expecting a move all the way up to the green 55, coming in at around $26,000. If you zoom back all the way down to the 3K zone, this is very, very reminiscent of what happened somewhere around here, because we were trading Bitcoin heavily. I remember the price action. I remember the psychology. Bitcoin kept testing this region, kept rejecting it, and then we started seeing candles close above it, right? The bears weren't able to hold price underneath the 21 EMA on the 3-day anymore. And what do we see next? A big push up to the green 55. Got rejected over there on the first 3-day candle. But hey, the next 3-day candle, which remember, there was a lot of price action over here during that time. 3 days is a long time when price pumps this hard. And then the next 3-day candle closed above, and that was it, right? Boom, boom, boom. So if we see something similar, I'm going to be expecting a big volatile move on Bitcoin. But yeah, just keep an eye on this. Don't forget. And finally, I do want to point out to you guys that regardless of all the volatility, quote unquote, on Bitcoin, volatility is still pretty low. We're seeing volatility compressed down to 3 at the moment on the 12-hour time frame. We still have the dead cross, but hey, potential bullish divergence being detected on the 12-hour time frame. Dogecoin over here with 97 on the volatility reading, really, really high up there, 113% up. The bull call came in, the long call came in on this 6 days ago, with the Ichimoku bull call 3 days ago. Damn, now I'm feeling even that much more worse about missing this. Got the 12-hour Ichimoku signal on this one. Golden cross as well. Unusual volume. It's not so unusual when Elon takes over Twitter, eh? Okay, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do want to wrap up because I don't want to spend too much time. There's a lot more to discuss, and we'll be discussing it during the rest of the week. If you guys did enjoy today's content, especially the discussion on FOMC, and if you guys were able to take something away from it, let me know in the comments down below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the Mango Grove. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.